Hi, everyone, and welcome to Gear Up Coffee Talks. I am Elizabeth Medina. I am one of the facilitators for Gear Up Iowa, and I am very excited to have a Gear Up coach here today. Megan, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Summer's coming, and I'm loving the weather. I'm
Yes,
not liking the 90-degree weather, but if it would just stay cool, 80s, 70s, then I would be good.
absolutely. I agree with you. The sunshine feels good, but the humidity can go away anytime. Yep,
Absolutely. And the mosquitoes.
that's true. Yeah.
So Megan, tell us where you're located at, and how you got started with Gear Up.
Yep. So, like Elizabeth said, I am Megan Kruse. I'm the work-based learning coordinator here at Iowa Central Business and Community. I am grant-based. I work for the intermediary network, but I'm housed at Iowa Central. So I got started with Gear Up because I worked at Iowa Central, and I was told that I was going to work with Gear Up. And at first, I was like, "What is that?" And then when I got placed into the committees, I learned that I was working with Gear Up students in the schools, which I absolutely love. We're able to, have just that class and do so much with them. It's truly been a blessing, and it helps me get to know those students individually, which is nice. Yeah, so I'm housed out of Fort Dodge at Iowa Central.
All right. And what's your favorite part about being and being a coach and getting to know the students?
I think my favorite part is just getting to know the students for a long period of time. So, you start with them and you kind of follow them through a handful of years, and you get to see how much they grow and develop. And then you get to see, where they start with not knowing very much about, careers and business and industries. And then you watch that all, just the horizon. They grow and learn so much. So probably just following them and watching the success. Um, whether they think that's successful or not. I was going to share a funny story. We were talking the other day with a student from one of my Gear Up schools, and they were saying, well, I didn't have very much success this year because he had had some job shadows that didn't go as well. And I said, no, that's still successful. Even though you have a job shadow that might not go like you thought it was going to go, and you don't like that career cluster anymore, that's okay. That's successful. Now you know not to go that way. Let's transition you and find a career field that you do like. So I think that's really rewarding in itself, and it says a lot. And I watch that happen all year when we're with Gear Up. So
Yeah, and we had a very challenging year, right, with the pandemic, and we're in classes and then we're virtual and kind of this hybrid back and forth thing. Tell me, what are some things you wish you could have seen happen had COVID not been a thing?
yeah, I think getting the students out more. We always like to get them on business tours, or have the businesses come in and or job shadows and internships. But unfortunately, those students, they missed out on that. And they're not going to get that year back, but we made the best of it. We did a lot of virtual. We did as much virtual things as we could. We were able to go into the businesses, do pre-recordings, send them to those students, do virtual job shadows and internships, do virtual tours and whatnot. So we still tried to do stuff. It was just unfortunate for, they didn't get those hands-on experiences, which we wish they would have. We had to cancel a lot of our events here at Iowa Central, which those Gear Up students attend. So, like I said, we made the best of it, and it was as successful as we could have been. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And just being able to take that, and saying, okay, we can't do this in person, but how do we do that? And just trying to navigate through the waters,
yeah.
that's something that I'm just impressed with everyone with, because it's stressful while you're trying to take care of other things, it's always this high alert is what I kind of felt like
Yeah.
all the time. And I'm sure, for students that were freshmen, going into their first year of college, you have that, and then you have to worry about the pandemic, and then, so just a slew of things. Um, so now that we're on the topic of students, what are some habits or skills that you wish to tell students, hey, um, it would be good if you started developing this habit, or you started doing, X habit. I know that I read that if you want to take a break, take a 10, 15 minute, maybe 20-minute nap, and then it retains. I know that sounds a
Right.
little, like, hey, I'm studying and it's nap time. But it does help. So that is
Right.
a tip for everyone. But yeah, I'm interested to see what you have to say.
This is a really good question, and I probably could say a lot, but I'll keep it short and sweet for you. I agree. One of the things I always say is take time for yourself. I really like how you said the napping part. Get good habits, create those good habits that you do take care of yourself, whether it's 30 minutes of exercise, eating right, etc., napping. Get good study habits, whatever that means. We're all different when we study, right? My thing too is I'm a big hard skill and soft skill person. So know your skills, know the difference between the soft skills and the hard skills, because we all need those. It doesn't matter where we work, who we talk to in our day-to-day social life, we need those skills. So those are important to know. I guess another thing would be showing up on time. So I always tell the students when I go into high schools that how you are now, it's probably going to follow you. Typically, if you show up to school late and you're not doing your homework, that could follow you into the workforce, how you are now. So change your habits now. So that goes for, Gear Up students too. Do it now. It's never too late to change, start over, improve yourself. As long as you start today and then just keep pushing towards that goal. So just to overall better yourself, do your research, ask questions. There's no dumb questions, right? So that's kind of, without getting into more, that's kind of how I feel about that topic. So
I feel like I need to take some pointers on the running late part. My wife always tells me that if we're on time, we're late. And I always like to come back with, oh, time is fluid, it doesn't exist. And
yeah,
that doesn't go well at our house.
I
Um,
bet not.
so that is definitely one thing
Hard.
yeah, but I did get my homework in. So there's that. Um, and and as we're talking about developing habits and learning these new things, what's something that you learned while working with these Gear Up students? That's one thing that we don't really get a chance to ask you guys
Yeah.
that work with the students is, hey, what did you also learn from this experience as well?
Well, I always say when I work with the schools for Gear Up, it's a good challenge for me. It really is. I have my other workload and all my other duties. And then I work with these schools for the Gear Up. And it's like, hey, here's this. Let's do this tour. Let's do this job shadow. And it's for these wonderful group of students, but there's a lot of them. So it's a really good challenge for me I set my dates, my goals, and I try to get them into these businesses. And a lot of people know when you're reaching out to businesses or whoever to do like the job shadows, the tours, it takes time. It's a lot of patience. So I've learned a lot of patience just because I'm like, Megan, give it a week. They're gonna answer you back, or even calling. Sometimes I feel like, oh, step back, you're harassing them. But in the goal is, in the end, is I'm just trying to get these Gear Up students a good opportunity, because they're not always going to have that. It's the prime time to get in those businesses and whatnot. So I've definitely learned patience. I've learned a lot along the way too. I typically travel with them to go on a lot of the tours and whatnot. So I'm learning about the businesses right then and there too, and what those businesses expect, when they will potentially work for them someday. So definitely a challenge, and I love a good challenge. And then nothing's ever the same, and that's, the pandemic showed us that. I mean, that was something we had to pick up and just run with. So that's how I feel about that one.
And it's always cool to kind of look back and say, in the moment it was probably stressful, but just say, that was something that I learned
Right.
from that. And whether it was a good experience or a bad experience, we never stop learning. That's one thing that
Yep.
I wish that teachers would have told me, like, hey, you don't stop learning. Cause in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm done with school. Okay, cool. I'm done, type of
Yep.
thing. So,
Yep.
well, that's all the time, Megan, that I have.
Okay.
Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it, and enjoy that weather that we're having. Try to stay cool when it's
Yeah.
90 degrees and above.
You as well. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Bye.